Welcome, welcome. It is me live, actually. Please do me a favor and share this. If you're in any groups, please share it, especially in Mississippi, especially in North Mississippi, and particularly in Oxford and Lafayette County. For 16 months, I've been on an independent investigation, getting to the bottom of everything that happened back in 2017. I just recently wrapped that investigation up. The results are shocking, to say the least. I want to take you back to July 7th of last year. That was the day that I had submitted my post-conviction relief to the circuit court in Lafayette County. Presiding judge that I would find out would be John Kelly Luther. For those that have followed my story, you'll see how conflict-ridden that has gotten. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play this, okay? I have recently actually just finished the mastering on part 1. This is a 15-minute segment. Feel free to leave your comments, and your shares and likes are appreciated. Part of my nightmare is over. All right. Hope everybody's doing all right today. Got it filed. Post-conviction relief has been filed in the Circuit Court of Lafayette County. I was reading off the motion on the way up here. The last day, the last hour, the last minute, but I got it in. I've hit every roadblock that there is seemingly known to man, just in getting this bad boy filed. The circuit court clerk, Jeff Busby, actually spoke directly with the presiding judge, Judge Kelly Luther, to not give me a hearing, to not examine the evidence here of extreme corruption, government corruption. It took place at the hands of agencies tasked with protecting the American people. It chose in turn to turn a blind eye, to obstruct justice, and even so bad as what all signs lead to believe as evidence tampering. What's up, WMC? You guys gonna cover a good story? Hey, who got to you guys as far as like not wanting to cover a legitimate public corruption scandal? A government corruption scandal. And y'all won't even reach out to me and have a Zoom meeting. Because it doesn't fit the fake news narrative. I've been fucked non-stop by the liberal news media trying to sweep the shit under the table. Don't know who got to Jim, but I do know that it's you know, it's definitely not a part of the fear-mongering narrative. See, I want to know why WMC TV will not cover a legitimate breaking story. One that involves public corruption at its highest degree. Comes now the petitioner pro se and files his motion to set aside his plea of guilty and sentence rendered thereon, and in support, which show to the court the following. 1. That petitioner waived formal indictment in the 3rd District of the Circuit Court of Lafayette County, Mississippi for aggravated stalk, to wit, an AR-15 rifle with intent to place Todd and/or Ashley Lynch in reasonable fear of great bodily injury
a copy of said criminal information was filed in this court on the 6th day of July 2017 and attached hereto as Exhibit A. 2. That petitioner pled guilty to the aforementioned alleged crime and was sentenced by Circuit Court of Lafayette County, Mississippi on the 6th day of July 2017 and cause number LK17-295 to 5 years in the custody of the Department of Corrections, with the balance of the sentence 5 years to be served on supervised probation, a true copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit B. 3. That this motion is filed pursuant to Mississippi Code 99-39-5. 4. That the respondent was in direct violation of the petitioner's 1st, 8th, and 14th constitutional rights at the time the plea was given. 5. The petitioner's guilty plea was involuntary due to a denial of his due process rights as guaranteed by the United States and state of Mississippi constitutions, thus making his plea of guilty a violation of the laws of the state of Mississippi. 6. That petitioner received inadequate representation by his legal counsel on record, in which adequate counsel representation likely would have resulted in an outright dismissal of the state of Georgia. Petitioner only met with his legal counsel one time, and no discovery motion was ever requested by the petitioner's legal counsel. That's Brennan Horan, by the way, in Horn Lake. That the state has refused to comply with a Freedom of Information Act request for information regarding the phone call received on May 24, 2017, which through the state's own admission on a more recent public records request ultimately led to the charge being levied against petitioner. A copy of the state's admission to receiving a phone call and basing their allegation upon the information received is attached as Exhibit C. 8. That there exists additional evidence of material not reasonably discoverable at the time of involuntary plea and not previously presented and heard, which requires vacation of the conviction or sentence in the interest of justice. Wherefore, premises considered, plaintiff prays that the court will enter an order vacating and setting aside the guilty plea herein, number LK17-295. That is my signature, and the document is now filed in an open legal matter in the circuit court right here behind me. I've got the public record as Exhibit C. This is where Lafayette County Sheriff's Department admits that they received a call that Sheriff's Investigator Jared Bundren received a phone call on May 24th, 2017, which therein led to, well, it was a call stating that I was threatening Todd and Ashley Lynch and Frank and Marley's, which was not the case. In fact, I've got evidence of them being the ones threatening, of them creating well, I say them. I'm not going to go out and speak and say them as in the Lynches. But a YouTube channel created with like 15, 20 videos. Todd Lynch on video saying that there needs to be a problem resolution and that the members of the community, being Oxford, needed to come together and figure out a way to get rid of Matt Reardon. How do you dispute something like that? How can you dispute something like that? When he's on video saying it, just days prior to my false arrest my illegal confinement, my First Amendment rights, my Eighth Amendment rights, my 14th Amendment rights getting absolutely destroyed in a quid pro quo plot, which helped elect a female Democrat mayor, shield the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department and Timmy Pruitt from the liability imposed by his unlawful arrest May 1st for me standing right here in front of that statue on public property holding the state flag back May 1st, 2017, which also helped get the problem out of the way for Frank and Marlies and the Lynches, and finally, which helped a mother of an almost 2-year-old little girl at that time slide the father completely out of the way, but not his money out of the way. You see, they made sure to take out a withholding order for $600 a month in child support, knowing that I was innocent the entire time and playing a major part in this entire scandal, even being able to go down in the first place. And the most sickening thing of all is for Lafayette County Sheriff's Department to know without all reasonable doubt that I was innocent. To go through every extent that they could to threaten me, to try to force my hand into submission, and through their own admission to have received a phone call which led to me getting arrested for something I didn't even do, I couldn't have possibly done, 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, and to refuse to comply with a Freedom of Information Act request, a FOIA, a public records request, for information about the call received on May 24, 2017. They want to keep the masked actor right there undone. They want to keep him masked. The attorney for Lafayette County refused. He was gonna get a copy of that information to me at the last minute. And at the last minute, he decided to seal up the record as confidential. Something that fell out of the scope of the Freedom of Information Act. A Marine Corps veteran who wrote a blank check to our government for an amount up to and including his life back at the end of 2007. A patriotic American, a conservative, and a 3%er that would never cause anybody any kind of harm, but only be there to protect himself and his family and those around unable to defend themselves